Welcome to Distorted Realities. Here are your hosts, Jay Rock and Frank Walls. Remember, discuss the unknown and discover your truths.
Hey folks, welcome to Distorted Realities. My name is Jay Rock, and alongside me is Mr. Frank Walls, ladies and gentlemen.
What up, what up, what up? You're starting today, yeah.
Hurricane Milton tried,
Yeah,
and he failed.
yeah.
But first and foremost, to all those affected by Hurricane Milton, we want to just send our love, support, and say that we wish you all the best, and that hopefully he wasn't severely impacted. It's a very serious thing.
Yeah, we're
So-
people of Tampa.
So before we begin, I want to dedicate this episode to my older brother, Edwin Ibanez, who had to undergo a serious ordeal with his health, and he overcame it and conquered it. So
Amen to that.
we applaud you, proud of you, love you, brother. All right. So it's been a crazy 2 weeks.
It is.
And from what I get, you are not feeling well.
Under the weather.
Under the weather.
Yeah.
Talk about a hurricane, and now you're under the weather.
Under the weather.
So why don't we go to YouTube real quick and make sure that people can hear us and that everything sounds clean. From time to time, I address this to everyone in every episode. We have a hellhound. His name is Rambo. Yes. All right. And Rambo is very loud at times. So if you hear him, just say hi and wave. So we can confirm that we do have audio, so we can continue on with the show. But the first part of this show today, outside of Frank feeling under the weather and us overcoming Hurricane Milton and
Yep.
giving shout outs, it's about you, the subscribers. So we created something for you, and we hope that you enjoy.
We got Corrali Soltero in the chat.
Crazy, ain't it? What started out as an idea has blossomed into something more. Frank Walls and I, J Rock, want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. With your continued support, we have reached more than 500 subscribers. We are dedicated to come up with new ways to keep you entertained and engaged. We do so because you're amazing viewers. You deserve that and a whole lot more. We tell tales to incite intrigue, awe, and allure because we at Distorted Realities feel that we all have an inner child that speaks to us and wants to believe in the possibilities of the unknown and mysterious. Although we know that some of it is far-reaching, it sparks the imagination and allows for great conversation. It truly takes a village, and we want to show gratitude for all of those who have continually supported us since we started. We pledge to continue putting our best efforts in ensuring that with each episode, we make it a little more intriguing with the hopes that you will remember that every Sunday we are here to entertain you. No matter who you are, where you're from, and what beliefs you have, Distorted Realities welcomes you with love, sharing positive vibes, and wish you all the best that life has to offer. Remember that you are amazing people, capable of changing the world for the better. Once again, thank you, and hope you continue to enjoy our show. Peace out. All right, so who's on YouTube?
Yeah, we got Corrali Soltero. Yeah, amen. Ooh, shout out.
Hey Coral, just let me know real quick if you give me a nod, if the video was heard fully and clearly.
We got Warlord GGP. Audio's good.
Okay, great. So 500 subscribers. Here we are. What we started off as nothing, a little bit of elbow grease, a lot of work, and a lot of entertainment. We've made it this far. And again, we are humble servants. We say this with gratitude and nothing but love. We appreciate what you do for us, and by subscribing and joining and watching the videos. And I think that what better way to say thank you than to create an AI video that you know that you love and enjoy. So, moving on. How was your week?
Um, good. I was a little bit under the weather, but I still, went to work and do all that. You know what I mean?
And
And doing the research for the program and all that, and here now.
yes. And then we have controversy, right? This whole Puff Daddy thing is all the
That's
rave,
crazy, man.
you know?
Too much baby oil.
Yeah, man. Right?
Yes.
It's crazy, right? But I feel like sometimes it's a distraction from reality, right? Like,
It is. It is.
I feel like when things like that get presented, it's
Mm.
because something else is happening behind the scenes, right?
Right now we're in war in the Middle East.
Yeah, with so much going on, what happened in North Carolina, hearts go out to you guys.
Exactly. And,
It's been a little bit.
it's been very bad, and there's a fire somewhere. I don't know if it's Ohio, Idaho.
It's one of the states. They have like it's almost like a forest fire type.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting week. It's a little bit odd. Very much like our trip to Cassadaga, which we'll be talking about today. Which is part 2 of our journey to Cassadaga. But I think it's time for Mr. Valentine.
Yeah. Yeah.
See how that rhymes?
Of course.
So, guys, it's time for Mr. Valentine's 5 freakishly frightening facts.
There you go, Valentine.
Right.
Greetings and salutations, dear friends. My name is Mr. Valentine, and welcome to Mr. Valentine's 5 freakishly frightening facts. Let's get started. Number 1. There's a fungus known as the zombie ant fungus. This fungus takes over an ant, slowly unaliving them, and then controls their body. Kinda creepy. Number 2. It's actually proven that a recently decapitated head stays conscious for upwards to 5 seconds. Kinda like a chicken. Number 3. A man by the name of Ron Sweden accidentally inhaled a fruit seed. This fruit seed ended up growing inside him to the size of a tumor. Luckily, it got extracted. Alright guys, please de-seed your fruits. You don't want to end up like this guy. Fact number 4. Vlad the Impaler, also known as the real-life Dracula, has said to unalive upwards to 100,000 people at the stake. He might have forgot some A1 sauce. And finally, fact number 5. Did you know that King James, the same guy who wrote their version of the Bible that's still used today, also wrote the book titled The Demonology? Kind of ironic, isn't it? Well, that's all for me, folks. Stay tuned next week, where we discuss the unknown and you discover your truth. Take it away, J. Rock and Frank Walls. Until then, Mr. Valentine, signing out.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Valentine.
What up? Nice.
Yeah. That was really good, right?
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Way better.
It's getting way better. What do the people think on the interwebs? Give us your feedback. We really welcome it. So before we move on, let's do the fan of the week, because the fan of the week is long overdue. And we got a new friend that we want to shout out.
Yep.
A gamer.
Yeah.
Right? Hardcore gamer. So I'll do the fan of the week. You do the gamer.
Yeah.
Fair? Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it goes without further ado that every week we present somebody who has either purchased a product and participated in the show, or got a product because they participated in the show. And the key here is to participate in the show, not because of the free merch or anything like that, but because you know that the show is worth watching and you're entertained. And this person has been involved from the very first season. And I think, we got to give credit where credit is due. We do what we do because of you guys. So Noelia, you are the fan of the week. What a lovely picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Noelia from the Bronx,
From the
hailing from
Bronx.
the Bronx. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. I like the fact that she's holding the mug.
Yeah, thank you, Noelia.
You know, so you know what we're gonna do? We're going to grab this mug and say cheers. So that's our fan of the week.
And Noelia, the one on the left is me, one of those two guys.
Just don't stare at the picture. All right, so let's talk about Printify. But before we do that, no, let's do the friend first.
Yep.
Go ahead, Frank. The floor is yours.
Yeah, this is a brief story. What happened to me, right? I was playing Call of Duty, DMC, right? And I was shut down. I was shut down by a team, and this team tried to revive me and pick me up, and I was very glad that they did that, and they were really cool. They were really good friends, and her name is Winslow. Yeah,
So let's look up the name.
I got it right here. She is a gamer, and she is really good on what she does, and that's her TikTok page right there. And she let me promote the channel in her. She was doing a live at that moment. So she let me promote the channel on the live, and she's very cool, you know. And now I'm giving her a head shout out. So
So V Winslow. So
V Winslow.
let me add a little more flair to it.
Yep.
So go to V Winslow's channel. If you're a gamer and you like playing games, especially Call of Duty, V Winslow is the place to go. She'll kick your ass with
Oh,
just
yeah.
one sniper
Really good.
and give you a no-scope shot.
Really good.
All right. So Winslow Gaming. I
Winslow
think that's the V Winslow Gaming. So
V
at
Winslow Gaming. Yeah.
So at V Winslow is her handle on TikTok. Check out the videos.
Check out
Super
that TikTok
impressed.
page, yeah.
Super impressed. That's great. I mean, I can't play Call of Duty for the life of me. I play for fun with friends. But this person has skills.
No, really good.
You know,
yeah.
skills that kills.
Yeah.
so good for V Winslow.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Printify, we have merch. As you already know, we have the new Yeti coffee blend. We got the new shirts releasing with the comic book cover art that we've been releasing every week. That's coming out next week.
We got the
However,
hats.
somebody is upset because they haven't spoken yet.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we have a gentleman by the name of Mr. Reaper. Mr. Reaper is the person who's on the logo of the Distorted Reality, and I think he wants to speak his mind for the first time.
Right there.
So let's take a look at Mr. Reaper and see what he has to say about going to the sites.
Hello, this is Mr. Reaper here. Check out the merch at the Distorted Realities Printify page. You can see the link below. And if you go to TikTok, you can also see a store there. I highly advise that you look at the merch. Consider purchase something. I'll see you soon.
All right, he's a man of very few words.
Yeah.
But I think he got the message across. He added the links to the TikTok site where you can shop for merch. And of course, you have your, where are you? Your Printify link that's there. And before we continue, again, we tell stories and we gather information and we showcase it and we present it to the audience. Some of it is facts, some of it is not. But the point of the show is that we discuss the stuff that's unknown to everyone or to us, or even if it's known, you're a skeptic, right? You're curious. The point is for you to discover your truth with no bias, with no repercussion, right? Because we live in a time where you have to be very careful about the things you say and who you say it in front of. And this is a neutral space for you to engage and participate in viewing the material. And if you feel like you want to ask a question, you can call in. If you feel like you want to share a story, right? You can go to our email, which is contact@thedistortedrealities.com. Again, contact@thedistortedrealities.com. And at that point, what will happen is that you can send us an email with your contact information, tell us what you want to speak about, and we'll make time to either give you the floor to speak, or we can discuss it together privately. I can generate an AI video, and you can be completely anonymous, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay? So, and you get free merch,
Exactly.
which is great. So why don't we stop there, and why don't you translate a little bit in Spanish? I know you're sick. Right. So
Yeah.
folks, we apologize.
Yeah.
Frank is literally under the weather. He's a trooper. He's here. So wait a minute. I think you deserve it as well. You know what I'm saying? Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So go ahead.
So, no se olviden de visitar la tienda de nuestra mercancía, Printify Shop, donde tenemos las gorras como esta que tengo aquí, las camisetas, las tazas como esta que están aquí. Tenemos el café, que tenemos dos sabores, ¿no? Tenemos el Coco Blend Coffee y el Jerry Blend Coffee, ¿verdad? Y tenemos medias, camisetas, hoodie, de todo un poco tenemos ahí. Así que no se olviden de visitar. El link está en el canal. Cuando van al canal, ahí están todos los links. Está el link de YouTube, el link de Facebook, de Instagram, TikTok y el de la tienda como tal. Así que se les agradece. Si quieren ser parte del programa, también pueden llamar al número del programa o al email, donde puede dejarnos su historia. Si ha tenido alguna historia paranormal, fuera de lo normal o no normal. ¿Tú me entiendes? Pues pueden dejarnos ahí una información como quieran, o pueden llamar en vivo al teléfono del programa, que lo tenemos aquí. Miren, ese es el teléfono del programa. Pueden llamar y contarnos su historia en vivo, la cual nosotros nos ponemos serios. Ahí dejamos la charlatanería y nos ponemos serios, y entonces ahí decidimos, ¿verdad?, coger las cosas en serio y hablar. Y alguno de ustedes ha tenido alguna experiencia paranormal, puede llamar al número, que es el 1904-803-7327. Repito, 1904-803-7327, que está aquí, aquí. Míralo ahí.
They could also call just to give us a shout out. They don't have to necessarily tell a story or anything
También
like that.
pueden llamar y
You know,
saludar.
if you're a fan of the show, we love that. You know, we
Si
love
son
feedback.
fanáticos, pueden llamar y confianza. Así que se les agradece por el apoyo y el support que nos han dado en este tan corto tiempo. Ya son 500 suscripciones. Así que positivo.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Walls. So the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, feel free to do so. We won't force your hand because we can't, but remember, we have Mr. Reaper now, so we can have him call you.
Let me shout out some people here.
Sure.
I got Cristina Perez. Hi, Cristina.
Hi, Cristina.
I got Manuel Orellana. Hi, Manuel. We got Dan Arroyo. Hi, Richard Pereira. Teresita. We got Darren García. Shout out. Saludos a todos. Gracias por el apoyo, mi gente. Tenemos a Jacob Castro también. Saludos a todos, mi gente.
So yeah, so I think we covered a good amount of detail, and I think that it's time to go to the cryptid segment. Okay, 1 second.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to cryptid discovery.
The Enfield Horror.
Wow.
I never thought it would be a cryptid with 3 legs. But that's how it's described, right? So, what do we know about the Enfield Horror? So, I'll let you run with this one, being that you have all the information right in front of you, and share it with the public.
This is what I found so far and about the Enfield monster, right? The Enfield monster refers to a report and unidentified creature around Enfield, Illinois, United States. In April 1973, the reports were covered by the news media at the time, with some suggesting they may have been caused by a wild ape or escaped kangaroo. Wow. And use it as a case study for a paper on social contagion. In 1978, sociologists cite the episode as an example of collective behavior, where a group of crowd can be affected by the spread of group emotions such as panic, hysteria, collective vision, and extreme instance of suggestibility. It says reports about 10 p.m. on the night of April 25, 1973, Henry McDaniel heard a scratching sound at his front door. He looked out and saw something that he thought may be a bear. Taking a gun and a flashlight, he headed outside into the strong wind and saw a creature between two rose bushes. He later said it has 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pinky eyes as big as a flashlight. It stood 4.5 feet tall and was grayish colored, and added later that it was almost like a human body. McDaniel fired 4 shots at the creature, one shot hitting it and causing it to make his much like a wildcat.
Hey, can you do that again?
McDaniel described as a dog-like in shape with 6 toes pad. The police consider McDaniel to be rational and sober in his reporting of the incident. In a later press interview, McDaniel said, if they do find it, they will find more than one and they won't be from this planet. I can tell you that. Wow. So how he knew? How he was so sure that was not from this planet, right? Because of the 3 legs?
Well, I mean, obviously, 3 legs is better than 2 if you're running, right? But I guess the makeup of the monster could have been, and I wrote an abomination, right? This could be something that could have been a malformed species
Could
or a
be.
species that integrated with another species, and the result was that abomination, right? But there are things that give it credence to be alien and specific. The problem is if you cannot specify it, then you cannot call it an alien. This kind of like unwritten rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
For what's classified as a cryptid versus an alien, right?
Yeah.
So you know how we go over the books and
Yeah.
and we know what El Manuk is and all these things. They're classified, they're documented. How they become documented is
I
a
don't know.
crazy part for me, but a cryptid is something that is so elusive that there's no way of defining it because it hasn't been captured or more than one hasn't been seen to really identify it.
But what if it was not a 3 leg? It was something else, like a tail.
It could be a tail. It could be an appendage.
Because you know kangaroos, an example, the kangaroos,
They have their tail.
they use the tail. I think they stand on their tail. Like
Right.
they really do. Like
So here's a laughing point. It could be a third leg.
could be.
No, we're talking about the other third leg.
Yeah.
You know, so it's possible.
You never know. You never know.
But the marsupial thing makes sense.
Maybe
right?
he saw a donkey.
So what we know, what else we know about this is that they're known to approach homes, and when they go to the homes, they tend to leave scratch marks on the doors and things like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the hissing sound. Can you do it one more time? Leaves a hissing sound. Now we know what we're gonna dress you up as for Halloween.
A mountain cat.
No, the Enfield horror.
Damn,
So yeah, I think that. So here's what I think. I think this creature is an anomaly. It's either an abomination or it is in fact an alien. It's one or the other. And what I mean by abomination is that it is something closely related to two species that probably didn't coalesce, or a species that was probably affected by some kind of radioactive thing, right?
Something, yeah.
So you have some clinical cases where they're just born deformed, but that's very rare in animals. And
Like the
that's-
Simpson fish. Remember, it had
Yeah.
3 eyes.
Right. So there you go. So How creepy is this in a scale of 1 to 10? Well, if you're living in the suburbs, right? Or in a rural setting,
Do we live in the suburbs?
we
or
live in
rural?
the suburbs, but there's more rural, right?
More
Like
rural.
country,
Yeah.
right? If you live in the country and something like that is in your door and you know that you could, so let me just rewind that for a second. If you live in the country, right, you probably know every single animal because you're gonna hunt and you're gonna live off the land,
Yeah.
a big majority of the time, and you're gonna be the kind of person who's gonna be armed and be safe because by the time you call a sheriff and they show up, whatever it is you're trying to save is probably not gonna be saved. So they kind of enforce that upon you, and you're gonna have to take it upon yourself. So these people are very learned, right? They understand their environment, the lay of the land, the creatures that are involved. So if they see something that doesn't look the way it should, they're going to say, "Hey, this is not an animal," right? So I would say that that is a freakish situation. One, because you have no one to back you up. You know, so in those rural areas, right, what you see is that there's a house here, and then 2 miles down there's another house.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
So you don't have people around you.
No
You-
cups. No cups.
No, nothing. So yeah, this is a very creepy idea, and the fact that we don't know what it is scary. But the third most scariest part is we don't know what the intention is.
Exactly.
Right? It's like when we spoke about the black-eyed children.
Mm-hmm. They
Like,
used to knock on your door.
They knock on your door, and this is what they do. They knock on your door.
Sorry.
Hello, can you let me in? Please let me in. I'm hungry.
And then you let them in, right? And then this is what happens.
I'm gonna eat your soul.
And boom, you're gone, right? But that's what it leads to,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think overall this creature can be very real. I don't want to call it some kind of alien because there's nothing that
know.
describes it, not even in the book. I looked at the book, by the way.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the book that describes this alien. So but I think it's a really cool idea. The third leg part is kind of like weird for me. Only because where would you position it, right? Like behind the butt cheek or on the spine.
I don't know.
But I'm now inclined, and
Mhm.
thank you, I'm now inclined to believe that this alien probably has a tail that serves as a balancing
Yeah.
thing, right?
Like the kangaroos, they can stand on their tail
Yeah.
and throw kicks.
So I think so. Anything else you want to mention about this?
I got a ton of stuff here. Let me see. Can read some more about it. It says, investigator interviewing nearby residents were told that Greg Garrett, a 10-year-old neighbor from McDaniel, claimed to have encountered the creature half an hour before McDaniel did, and that the creature has stepped into his feet, tearing his tennis shoe to shreds. The boy later told Western Illinois University researchers that his report was a hoax to tease Mr. M and have fun with auto. So it was a lie. The kid was lying.
Okay.
Wow.
So I mean, there's always like that something with cryptids everywhere you go. There's always a
Yeah.
hoax or some kind of false statement or anything like that.
But then,
Again, I like this one. I like to believe it.
yeah. Then he said that 2 weeks later, on May 6th, McDaniel called the radio station WWK1, claiming to have seen the creature again at 3 a.m. that morning. It was negotiating the restless of the railroad tracks near his home, and McDaniel said, "I saw something moving out of the railroad tracks. There is stood. I didn't shut it or anything. I stared and down the railroad track." So
Do you know how he tracked it?
no.
He saw 3 steps. So that's what he did.
3 sneakers.
Yeah. So I think this is a really cool one. I like the mystery and I like the description and the mystery behind it. I'm gonna say yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
You know. So
I think it was a kangaroo that escaped. That was
a kangaroo that got its ears cut off.
something.
Well, you know, it kind of makes sense because they got small arms. They technically have 3 legs.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with it is that kangaroos are only visible in one place.
Australia,
Yeah. What the hell is it doing in Chicago?
right?
You know, that's and given the streak that Chicago's on right now, it's really hot and heavy out there. I think it has no business being there.
Maybe it was a mobster.
It could have been.
A kangaroo from the mob.
There you go. All right, guys. So I think this concludes the Enfield's horror / monsters 5 minutes of fame. And I think that in order to do it justice, we're going to give it its own tribute video
Oh yeah.
via the power of AI. So without further ado,
Watch.
the Enfield horror.
The Enfield Monster. This creature was first sighted in Enfield, Illinois. Described as a small grayish creature with 3 legs and small hands, has a habit of making his appearance in attempts to enter people's homes. No one knows his origin, as some claim it is an abomination. His intent is also unknown. What reports have claimed is that it makes a hissing sound and is known for leaving odd-shaped scratch marks on the properties it attempts to enter. It is highly recommended to avoid this creature if encountered in Enfield, because no one knows what can happen.
All right. So the Enfield horror. So what do you think about the AI video?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think our IT department is getting better and better. Right now we got like it's not a big staff. We have like 10 people working in the IT department, and they're doing an excellent job. Shout out to them. They know who they are. If you're watching, you know, you guys are awesome. Shout out.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Especially our guy Jose Otero. He's one of the best.
He's one of the best ones, right? So with that being said, I think that the AI video, right, kind of vaguely represents what the description is. I just don't see it having small itty bitty arms.
Right? No?
I don't think so. I did it as best as possible as I could to the description with some loose ends. So this is the part where you get to be creative because you get to use something called your noggin, which is your imagination. And sometimes you could bend the rules a little bit. What seems more obvious and more realistic would be that one versus something that looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with 3 legs.
Could be a kangaroo without hair.
Kangaroos have fur, but it's a tight coat,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they don't have pink eyes. So,
What do you think? What is your thought about this creature?
look, my thought is very simple. It's an unexplored species or it's an alien. And when I say an unexplored species, it could either be a malformed species or a species that what we call an abomination, something that was created out of 2 different species coalescing and doing their thing.
You know, I saw a coyote the other day.
Yeah. It wasn't a chupacabra.
No, it was
You know.
it was in the morning.
What was it? The Texas version?
No, it was a coyote.
It was a coyote.
It crossed to my front of the car, like was like, wow.
Crazy. So I think it's time for us to move on to the next one, which I really, really like. Anybody on the
Yeah, we got Kid Dan.
Kid Dan?
What up? Corali Otero, Danny Garcia. We got Corali Otero says the 5 facts are creepy, especially the zombie one. It kind of reminds me of the show the Last of Us.
So
Yeah.
just so you know that part of the inspiration for The Last of Us came from that specific fungus.
Wow.
Yeah. So that fungus penetrates the bug's body and it grows from inside, but it's a parasite.
Controls
That controls the bug's motor functions and what it needs to do in order. But this is in order for the fungus to survive.
To pass on to
Yeah.
another animal or whatever. Shout out to Daniel Arroyo. What up?
Right.
And that's it. Yeah.
All right. So the next person up is the sheep squash.
Keep squash.
Yeah, I ran into this one and I was like, wow. I mean, I've heard of Bigfoot, I've heard of Yeti. And then I was like, what the hell is a sheep squash? You know? And From what I'm listening to and looking at the documentation, this thing is worse than all three of them.
Really?
Worse than the skunk ape, worse than everything. So this thing has, so check it out. This was spotted in 1990 in West Virginia, right? In the southwestern side of West Virginia. I believe it's Putnam County. And basically this creature has been spotted by people. It has been reported to do attacks and like rip car doors to shreds and things like that. But here's the thing that's crazy about it. It has acidic urine,
Wow.
right? It has quills on its back that serve as some kind of weapon. And then you got a battering ram for a head. So
That's crazy.
now, given all the species of ape-like creatures, this one to me is the furthest non-believable one
Because it looks like a sheep.
because of the whole sheep ape hybrid thing. It just doesn't work out for me. Now, in on paper, it looks good. I like the idea of a goat-like creature, right? That embodies that of a Bigfoot, but we already have that. You know what his name is?
What is it?
The Goat Man.
The goat man, yeah.
So we have the goat man. Why we need a sheep squash? And then when you think about it, who's tougher, a sheep or a goat?
Um,
A goat.
a goat, right?
Right. That's when you watch sports, they say who's the goat of basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have that huge debate between Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Everybody knows Michael Jordan. I don't know why. LeBron.
Yeah. He was at the Diddy party too. so-
Exactly, you know.
I don't know. But anyways, long and short, I like this creature. I don't believe it though.
They also know him as the white thing.
Yeah, the white thing. Yeah,
That's crazy.
but they describe it as the white thing because the fact that it's part sheep, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, its fur is covered in moss. It's actually green.
Ring. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's interesting.
I got some info here.
Go ahead, share it
about the sheep squatch. If we translate it to Spanish, will be el tacaño squatch. I'm joking. Also known as the white thing, is a woolly haired cryptid reported across numerous counties in West Virginia. Predominantly within the southwest region of the state, the counties with the most sightings are Boone, Kanawha, Putnam, and Mason, with a surge in sightings taking place in Boone County during the mid-90s. Okay, it is described as being quadruped, about the size of a bear, with entirely white wool-like fur. It has a long and pointed head, similar to a dog, but with long saber-like teeth and single pinned set of horns, not dissimilar to those found in a young goat, with forelimbs and in a paw, like hands, similar to those of a raccoon. Wow, but larger. While its tail is long and hairless, like that of a opossum. It is reputed to smell like sulfur, which has been an attribute through folklore to the best being born within the TNT area in Mason County, like one of the Mothman theories. But it is not likely, and studies may have moss sense land similar to those found in many species in the order carnivore, such as weasels and skunks. So it stinks.
Yep, it's a stinky animal.
Wow.
Has a musky odor.
It says in 1994, a former Navy seaman said he had witnesses the beast breaking through the forest. The white thing breaches the brush line and drink from the creek. It drank from a few minutes before crossing the creek, continuing towards the nearby road. A witness stated that he observes the animal for a while before he moved on into the surrounding brush. So a lot of sightings, 95, 99, 2015.
Yeah, it keeps going.
Wow.
So my thing is, do you feel that this is a real species?
There's been a lot of sightings though.
I think Bigfoot is enough. I
Right.
think Yeti is enough.
I think that's big.
I think the skunk ape is enough, and those are rational, right? Because you can have a species of ape that's built or adapted to like a Florida environment. You have a species of ape or Bigfoot that's built for the cold environments, and then you have one that's neutral, right?
hmm
But this is just it's a big giant sheep.
But what if all these creatures like the skunk ape, the goat man, all these, maybe it's just Sasquatch.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. But people sometimes get that thing. There's a word for it, but they see something and they make it appear as something else. Right? So that could be possible. So yeah, so all in all, I think it's pretty cool. Do I think it's real? No, not this one.
Not that one.
Not this one. It's good for a horror movie.
They should make one, no? Cheap squash now
Yeah,
on
imagine.
video.
Yeah, that would work. That would work. Like,
Be careful when you go to the woods. The sheep squash will come and get you at night. If you like fishing, stay away from the creeks and riverbeds. The sheep squash will get you. If you like playing paddleball near a wall and tree, be careful. Sheep will get you.
so yeah, this is more akin of a hybrid that doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. And I hope I'm wrong, right? Because
I kind of like him, especially when he.
yeah, but you also like one version of the chupacabra.
Yeah, I mean the Puerto Rican version.
You gotta like both of them.
I like the Puerto Rican version. The Mexican version is just a dog.
So what is that? How do you say sheep in Spanish?
Cheap. Cheap. Oveja.
Oveja. How do you say sheep squash?
Squash. ¿Qué es squash? Oveja.
Como aplastar.
Oh, el aplasta oveja. Oh, aplasta cabra.
Something like that. All right, so it's a yes for you, a no for me.
I like them.
All right, well, no matter what, we still gotta give them the good old AI treatment.
Yeah.
I will say before I begin with this one was fun. This one worked for me in a lot of ways. I enjoyed it. It was just very easy to work with, right? So, without further ado, I'm feeling squashy. So
There you go.
let's play the sheep squash video.
Hit it.
The sheep squatch, also known as the white thing, first sighted in the West Virginia southwestern counties in the 1990s. This creature is described as a woolly-haired creature with moss on its body, a sheep-like face with horns, and leaves a musky odor. Sightings and attacks have been reported throughout the years, as it seems this cryptid is unfriendly to humans. It has been reported to tear through the exterior of vehicles. Some describe this creature as 10 foot tall, while others have reported it as human in size. They have quills on their backs, highly acidic urine, and have ram horns to headbutt its victims. This creature is to be avoided at all cost.
All right, so that concluded our cryptid segment.
We got in the chat.
Yeah.
We got Aida Otero.
Hey, how are you?
Felicitaciones en su segunda temporada y a Mr. Valentine. What up? What up?
Yes, thank you so much.
And we got Jacob Castro.
So I think it's time for us to take a little break. and trailer up, right? I think it's yeah, let's do that. So, guys, without further ado, we're gonna give you a 1 minute break and show you something very different, very funny, and hopefully you'll like it. From Hollywood Videos, home video entertainment. Get ready for one last hurrah. As the decade of decadence comes to an end, Starlight Riot goes in fast, deep, and hard, while spraying his lovely locks with more Aquanet than you can swim on. Ladies, you are in for a treat as Starlight Riot brings his metal story full circle with his seductive chops and finger-licking guitar skills that will melt your hearts. Literally. Starlight Riot isn't going down without a fight as he attempts to send the message that glam isn't just a fad, it's a way of life. Check out the final chapter in Starlight Riot's latest entry in a series that's too long that we may do this forever. Watch Glitz Sirens as it will sure knock your socks off while you glam out. Glitz Sirens is available wherever videos are sold.
Tira eso.
I'm not sure. So I'm sorry, guys. We were reviewing a message that was on YouTube, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Glitz Sirens, ladies and gentlemen. That was another and probably the final trailer for Starlight Riot. So in his last chapter, that's what it was. So-
Starlight Riot is a warrior. He is a
He-
warrior.
Well, as you can see, he's gone through ups and downs based on his trailers alone. So hopefully people can enjoy this and just give us some feedback and let us know what you think. And now we just want to let you know and just remind you guys that we are not just on YouTube, we are streaming on Twitch and we are streaming on Kick at Distorted Realities. So that's our handle. You can just take a look. If YouTube is not your thing, you can go to Twitch, and if not, go to Kick. We are investigating Kick a little bit and checking to see how the algorithm works and how the viewership is. We'll test it out for a couple more weeks. If that doesn't work, then we'll be live streaming on Facebook. So just bear that in mind. We do have a phone that we have right now with Facebook Live users, but they don't see what you're seeing on YouTube. You see the green screen, the videos, and all that. They just see us in the screen. So yeah, you wanna reiterate that in Spanish?
Yes. En español, para que los que hablan español me escuchen. Queremos decirle a todos que primeramente que es un honor el estar aquí con ustedes hoy. De verdad que gracias por el apoyo siempre. Recuerden que nos pueden llamar al 904-803-7327 si alguna vez ha tenido alguna experiencia paranormal, fuera de lo normal o no normal. Puede llamar y compartir su historia o simplemente puede llamar y saludar, como quien dice, mira, los saludos de aquí de Aguadilla, boom, saludos. También queremos darle las gracias a todos. Recuerden que no solamente nos vemos en YouTube, sino que estamos en Kick y en Twitch. So, en Kick y Twitch nos pueden ver también. También tenemos nuestra página de TikTok y nuestra página de Instagram. Y ahora mismo están viendo por mi Facebook personal. Tengo un live, pero lo que ustedes están viendo ahí no es lo que se ve acá. Ahí solamente ven como un behind the scenes. Tienen que ir a YouTube para que vean, o a Twitch, o a Kick, para que vean todo lo que es el programa como tal. Nosotros enseñamos videos, muchos videos en AI, videos que se mueven, fotos, muchas cosas que no están viendo ahora mismo. Así que les exhorto que vayan a YouTube para que puedan ver todo de lo que consiste el show como tal. Y nada, gracias por el apoyo una vez más. Ya son 500 suscriptores, 586 para ser exactos. ¿En cuánto? ¿Cuánto llevamos? Como 6 meses, no menos, ¿verdad? 6 meses, 500 suscripciones, buenísimo. Así que saludos a Matthew Adorno, Clam out.
Hey, Matt, what's going on, Matt?
Limaris Acevedo, Rafi Agosto, José Díaz, Héctor Suárez, Daniel
Yo, yo.
Arroyo, Jacob Castro, Gorali, Kidan, Aida Otero. Saludos a todos. Gracias por el apoyo. Recuerden que
Awesome.
pueden llamar.
All right, so now it's time for us to move on to the next segment,
Yep.
which is my favorite. You know, In Search of Aliens been a thorn in my side lately because I couldn't find something that really intrigued me. But this time, I think we got something that's really enticing. So let's go to it. In Search of Aliens, folks. Yeah, it looks sweet on this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this one is called the Gray Sly. Right now, this one was a little tricky, right? Because I'm on the fence.
Okay.
But before we begin, let's explain to the audience what this is about. There's a book that describes this huge war between a group of people called the Council of Five and a group called the Matra,
Mm-hmm.
right? And essentially, this divide has specific aliens in different groupings, and then you have some that are neutral, right? Now, someone created this compendium of alien races that have been documented that and reported that traveled here allegedly, and I ended up getting my hands on this book, and I said, "Oh, this is great," because a lot of people don't know about this stuff, and I wanted to share it. We've been reviewing a whole bunch of different alien races,
Yeah.
their affiliations, their intentions, but this one is really like a doozy, right? Because you don't. It almost feels like they're up to something.
And I think it's the first one with hair.
Yeah, they have so they're described as a species that does have silky white hair. So where they're from? They're called the Gray Sly. They're from the star system Virgo. They inhabit two home planets, right? There's not a lot of details what the planets' name are. They visited Earth 12 times, and a pyramid was built in their honor. There's a typo there. Sorry, guys, I messed up. And their purpose or intention is to study human behavior.
Wow.
That throws me off
Why?
because the way it's presented is like they're flying in these ships, right? They've been how many times it says in the document they've been to Earth 12 times,
Mm-hmm.
but only 6 of them show up,
12th time.
right? But only 6 aliens show up every time, right? What of their human behavior are they looking to study? You know, we have to start looking at things with a different lens, right? If you're a species that can travel to different planets, then you're way too advanced to study anything that we need.
Way too advanced. Way.
Why do you need to study? How dumb we can be as a species?
Maybe,
You know, like
maybe or composition. Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. Something just doesn't sit right with me on this one. It feels like they're doing this and they're masters of disguise. They can disguise themselves as humans,
Oh, okay.
right? So my thing is like, what is your intention? Like, it doesn't feel real that you're only here to study us. It's not like the last species we did the last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were studying religion and they made their positions very clear. Study of human behavior, there's always a reason why you study human. You don't study it for no reason.
Maybe they want to see. Maybe they compare how we are to them or different other planet races or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know.
Interesting. I think I got the same. Let me see. I got here. It says the Gracely. Their height average the same as that of humans, and they are covered in a soft, silky hair, silky smooth hair.
Reminds me of that Soul Glow commercial in that movie,
There you
Coming
go.
to America.
Coming to America. They have 2 home planets in the Virgo star system. They have visited Earth at least 12 times. Their first visit happened during the dynasty of Egypt, pharaohs around 3,000 years ago. They spent 10 UN interrupted years.
That's uninterrupted.
Oh,
I thought it was the same thing,
Yeah.
and then I realized that that's a typo.
Gotcha. So they spent 10 uninterrupted years. There during that time, the Djoser pyramid was built in their honor. The Djoser, what is that?
Dozier.
So you ever
King Dozier.
you know that pyramid?
Yeah, there's a pyramid called Dozier. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's hard to pronounce, but yeah.
Mhm.
The
They
D
have-
is silent.
Okay. So Djoser. They have been keeping a close look at humans' development for the past 200 years, knowing that some powerful humans can and are being misled by some alien races disguised as humans. Only 6 of them travel each time in their ships. That sites July 2002, February 2004. Wow.
Yeah. So, why are they so concerned about another species? Right? That's the red flag for me. You don't do something for nothing. When it comes to stuff like this, I mean, we're talking politics, right? Like, whether we're two different continents or two different species, there's always something to gain. And my problem is, I don't know what they stand to gain. So that's kind of like my 2 cents on the situation. But all in all, I think it's a cool looking alien race. I did enjoy doing the AI videos for this one. Yeah, I still think they're on the bad side.
Yeah.
There's no mention of their affiliation to any of the groups.
Yeah, but you're not gonna come here and disguise as us and then that's something weird.
Yeah.
Not for good stuff.
But yeah, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we pay respects to the Gray Sly or Slee or Slur
They're cousins of Sly.
in the Family Stone.
They're
Yeah, so
Sly.
Adrian, who's that? Well,
That's
wait,
Sly.
what was it? What was it? Hey Mick, my house think Mick. It never gets old for me. But yeah, so let's watch the AI video. Gray Sly. Enjoy.
The Grey Sly. This alien species is known to inhabit 2 planets in the Virgo star system. Their first visit to Earth was reportedly around the same time of the pharaohs, about 3,000 years ago. Rumor has it that the Dozier pyramid was built in their honor. They have visited Earth 12 times since, and in each visit, only 6 aliens are allowed to visit at a time. Their intention is to study human behavior. They possess the technology to disguise themselves as humans. No one knows the purpose for studying humans, but let's hope it's to our benefit. They were last seen on February 2004.
All right, folks, and that was the Gray Sly. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we see who's on YouTube?
We got Matthew Adorno. They always say that aliens are among us. Some are said to be shapeshifters and studying human like experiment. I mean, they got the idea for Men in Black or from somewhere.
So there's an interesting story behind that, and I think we should talk about it after this one because you'll find it very interesting. But this is the cream of the crop. This is where it gets really fucking great. Pardon my language, folks. I get excited about this stuff, and here's why. I never thought that this species would be falling into the same book, right? But it did. We hear about them in the historical sense, right? We know that the writings that we call cuneiform was the first writings ever done, and that's how we learned to write, right?
Yep.
This species is responsible for it, and we know them because we hear it all the time. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, God tier status, the Anunnaki
The Anunnaki. Oh yeah.
or the Aneki,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the Anunnaki. Why is this so special? Well, because there is historical references to this. There's the Rosetta Stone tablet.
Yep.
That's the so you know how you want to learn a language, you use Rosetta Stone. Well, guess what? That's an actual tablet that had the first ancient writings. It's made by these folks,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what are they, right? So reportedly, they come from a planet called Nibiru that is
Nibiru.
part of Earth's solar system and is only visible every 3,500 to 4,000 years. It depends on who you believe. Well, we didn't see them 500 years ago, but we're almost at 4,000 at
Yeah.
this point, so it makes kind of sense. They are like gene masters. They're responsible for creating and developing a human race that has intellect. They're
Mhm.
not creating humans, but evolving the human species, right? So they evolved the human species from being cavemen to being a more
Homo sapien.
yeah. So you have that, right? But more importantly, and here's a fun fact: there's rumors that they also created the Bigfoot
Yeah.
to serve as a purpose for them to harvest gold.
Gold. Yeah. They needed gold to fix their atmosphere in their planet because their planet was getting messed up.
Yeah.
So apparently they find out that with gold they were able to fix the layers,
atmosphere.
the atmosphere.
So why gold, right?
Right.
So I'm going to tell you why. Because it is the perfect conductor.
Mm.
Don't you see when you use circuitry and you use technology, there's always like little gold pieces.
Even in the cell
Everywhere.
phones,
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, everything.
Mhm.
And you know that there's people now that actually will take your old technology just to remove the plastic and keep the metals.
Yeah.
So something that you should know. But these guys were tall. They were 8 to 10 feet tall.
They were
Even
huge.
they've been reported taller. They were considered the first rulers of Egypt. So all the Egyptian gods you see with the animal face, ta-da, it's the
It's
Anunnaki,
them.
right? So Set, Horus, and all those guys that we look up to when we were kids, and then we go to, oh wow, Egypt, the pyramids. Well, these are the guys that were quote unquote the founding fathers.
I heard
Right.
Monra.
Huh?
Monra was one of
Mumra
Monra from the Thunder.
for the Thundercats. Mumra, the ever living. Oh my god, that's crazy. I haven't heard that in years, man. It's funny because growing up as a kid, everybody wanted to be the hero.
Mm.
I didn't.
You
I
want- you
liked the
wanted to be
villain.
Monra.
I
Monra
liked
was cool.
the villains. I for some reason they were cool.
He has his own pyramid. He has his own statues and all that crap.
Yeah. So here's the crazy part. There's a rumor that sometime within our generation or this time span, Nibiru, the planet, is going to be visible on Earth, and that the old people that ruled us once will come again to reclaim their space in the annals of human civilization.
The
So-
Anunnaki. I got
so,
some stuff here.
Go ahead.
Probably.
Fire away.
It says Anunnaki, aka Anunnaki. They come from planet Nibiru, aka Nibiru. The planet is part of the same solar system as Earth, but with a much longer orbit. It comes closer to the sun every 4,000 years, and not every 3,500 years as commonly accepted. They resemble humans, but are higher, 2.5 meters and more, muscular. Yeah, there's some carvings. Then having like lions as pets,
They're putting them in headlocks.
yeah,
It's
like
just
little
crazy.
cat.
It's like eat your heart out, Hulk Hogan. This is the real guy.
Yeah.
You know?
And it says when they first visit Earth, there were already other races established here, some malevolent with supernatural powers.
Guess what they did?
The Anunnaki defeat them
They
and became the
power
most
slammed
powerful
them.
race.
They
Wow.
body slammed them. You know what they did? You know, if you look at the videos, who do they remind you of? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, Randy Savage. Come on,
Elizabeth. That's
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Now I know where the Macho Man got his appearance
Macho
and his
Man.
look from, right?
It says they genetically engineered the most intelligent non-alien being on Earth, us at the time of much more than smart pyramids.
Primates.
Primates. In order to have a race of slaves at their disposal. The time Samael and Lilith were the Anunnaki king and queen.
Wait a minute. What did you just say?
Samael.
And who's Samael?
That's another name for the devil.
And who's Lilith?
Um,
Go ahead.
the Lilith used to be the first wife of Adam.
So here's some. You see how
It's crazy, huh?
how all of a sudden things are starting to become interwoven. So in the Bible, you know about Eve, right? But if you read the canon version, or what we call, I'm sorry, not canon, but there's Hermetic texts and other scripts that were part of the original book that were removed by the Vatican, well, allegedly. I'm putting air quotes here. And basically, the first wife was Lilith,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Lilith did what?
She didn't want it to be governed or what you might call it, obey.
You wanted to be Beyonce, in other words.
Yeah. She
If
wanna
you don't
be-
like it, then you shouldn't put a ring on it.
all the single ladies, all the single
Yeah,
ladies.
that was it. So there goes your tie into religion from the biblical standpoint.
So you're gonna tell me that maybe the Anunnaki are considered the Nephilims or something like that, or
Not necessarily. They're also what started the word giants, right? Because they were taller than the majority of the species. I kind of got sidetracked a bit because there was something that I was interested in discussing when you said Lilith.
Lilith?
Just looking through the notes, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so here's my frame of thought. I think that the Anunnaki is an origin race. I think there's a lot more to uncover, right, about the Anunnaki. What was the name of the main chief of the Anunnaki? Wasn't it Enki?
Enki was he was like there was a king that was Enki.
Enki.
Enlil and Enki.
Right. And that was in what book?
Enki was the one that pretty much helped
From what book?
from the
Epic of Gilgamesh.
Epic of Gilgamesh.
So the Epic of Gilgamesh is another book
Mm-hmm.
that ties into this, right?
And the way that the picture Gilgamesh is like
Yeah,
Anunnaki,
like an Anunnaki.
like tall and strong.
Enlil and Enki were both depicted that way.
And if we're gonna go a little bit further, Gilgamesh kind of have some resemblance with what was this other guy from the Bible? I think it's not Nabucodonosor. No?
King Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a lot of layering that goes on with this
Mhm.
specific race. And I think they were an origin race for us. I don't think they are the origin race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like saying for us, there's God. Then God created everything. They're not the gods that we portray them to be. They're just another species that was highly
I
advanced
was highly bad.
and was able to leverage their position and
Mhm.
knowledge to do whatever they wanted. And they left and came back and said, all right, you know, it's fun, but I got to claim my goods and leave. So, all in all, love this species, love the historical references that's there. I think that this one is like, if you could literally sit there for days and months and study this stuff. It's so intriguing.
According to the text, they used to have there was a war on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and they used like nuclear weapons and all that.
Yeah, so you'll find that in a book called The Vimanas,
Yeah.
which is actually a Hindu text. And I think it's one of the best texts
Mhm.
because it's one of the few texts, or what we call I can't say Bible because it's not Bible, but it's a biblical reference for their culture, right? Or book that they use as in relations to like a Bible that depicts flying machines called,
Yeah.
what are they called?
Um, Vimana? No.
Vimanas.
Vimanas,
Yeah, Vimanas. I'm sorry. The name of the book is not Vimana. It's
Mahabharata.
the Mahabharata. Yeah.
Mahabharata.
Yeah. So, and they're a series of books. They're not just one book, right? So, very interesting.
Yeah, those
Um,
Hindu texts are out of the world. Like crazy. They're good. I mean, crazy in a good way. You know what I mean?
So let me just segue before we continue here. Let me just jump to my scene. So let me tell you something. You want to read a good comic book? You read the Mahabharata, right? And I'm just referencing it like it's because when you read the text, it is like watching Star Wars. It is insane. But you got to have an open mind, right? Because some of these things don't have context, in the way that you and I would see it in an action movie, right? But their descriptions and their gods are something to just be in awe and wonder. It is something insane.
And their flying machines and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And they actually paint things on this stuff, right? We should do like a segment.
We should.
On that. On like how ancient and not ancient, but old religion references these things through art and other media. I think that'd be great. But anyways, let's go back to the alien section. All in all, 10 out of 10. This is like to me, if there's anything is gonna be more real than this, it's this. Nothing else.
I got some over here. Where was it?
They were responsible for the creation of Frank Walls.
There you go. That's why they make me short. It says, they were not aware of the presence of the reptilian race on Earth. They only cooperated with one other race, the Zeta Reticuli, not to be confused with the Soplipsi Ride.
They're called the Solipsy Ride. Those are the alien grays. Yeah.
Those grays are the evils.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Eventually, they left Earth of no reason, but before they left, they created a subspecies for the Zeta. This species eventually became rulers of Egypt's pharaohs until the reptilians infiltrated them as temple priests and ended their reign. They gave birth to the legends about giants.
Bingo.
So
here's the cool part. There's something that a lot of people don't understand. They're not the kings or the pharaohs, right? But if we listen to the previous alien race that we spoke about, right? Where were they 3,000 years ago? They were in Egypt.
They were in Egypt, yeah.
Right? So doesn't that make sense? There's like a lot of correlation on this. And by the way, these are two separate alien species. They have nothing to do with one another. But the documentation presented it in a way where like, well, they must have seen each other because they've been there, right?
Let me see.
And one has a pyramid in honor of itself, and the other one is saying, "Hey, the lineage we created inherited that." And you know what they did to all the old gods in Egypt? They defaced them.
Yeah,
because they had these weird shaped heads, right? They were like really oval, and there are tribes that still do this today, that the head wrap, so their heads actually gets elongated. And basically is when you're born, you develop this thing called the sagittal crest on the top of your head, and it's still soft, so you can reshape your head over time. Right?
I want to find out how was the Egyptian called before the Egyptians.
The Anunnaki.
No, they have another name, and it resembles something like. I remember because I was doing helping my son one day with this school something for the school, like and they had a different name, and it was with a K, I think. I'll find out.
Kelamat R.
Something like that.
Yeah. So do me a favor. Let's check on YouTube and see who's on. Bless you.
Sorry, guys. We got Matthew Adorno, which apparently Men in Black is supposedly an actual organization. Hey, yeah.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. But to go back, here's a brain twister, right? A lot of people don't know. Like recently,
Mm-hmm.
there's been reports that there are remnants of Egyptians in the Grand Canyon,
I heard that.
and they closed down that area, right? Now, somebody went and broke down the map of the United States, and they showed the rivers, the Mississippi River going down. And you know how the Nile River was split in the end, and you would have
Yeah.
the Tiger and the Euphrates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? You had that here as well. And then they started looking at the names of certain areas in the states, and they all have some kind of tie to Egypt.
That's weird because it's funny because the Mississippi just crossed our U.
They go straight down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something
And
to
the
look
Nile,
at.
the Nile too.
Yeah.
It's like,
So it's very similar. But I'm gonna get that information. I'm gonna share it. I think that's where we should do for a special.
we should do. We also got those books. Remember for the talk about the Egypt.
The mythology.
Yeah, the
and stuff. So
mythology,
we
so
should
we
go
should-
over that. All right, cool. So I think we should move forward. And without further ado, we're gonna give you the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki AI video.
Let's
All right.
hit it.
Let's get it.
The Anunnaki. Their home of origin is a planet called Nibiru. This planet is rumored to be part of Earth's solar system and appears every 4,000 years. They have a human appearance and are between 8 to 10 feet tall. It has been discussed that they are genetically engineering most intelligent non-alien species on Earth, including the humans. They also introduced humans to cuneiform, which is considered the first written language. It is also mentioned that they are the original rulers of Egypt. They left the Earth for unknown reasons and seem to make a return soon. They are considered responsible for the giant lore.
All right, folks. So that concludes our alien segment in search of aliens.
Wow.
So at this point,
Well, I wanted to say that I was looking.
yeah.
It says in the early period of Egypt during the Old Kingdom, Egypt was referred as Kemet or Kermit or simply Kemet, which means the black land. They call it themselves Remech and Kermet, which means the people of the black land. So I told Ante the Lord Egyptian before the Egypt.
Interesting. Yes. So at this point, I think it's time for another break. So
Yeah.
I think it's time for you guys to enjoy another video.
Get it.
From Hollywood Videos, Home Video Entertainment. A man is on a mission to reinvent himself. With the decade of glam now over, Starlight Riot has to put down the hairspray and find meaning to his life. Watch as Starlight Riot journeys to find himself as he has to overcome addiction, parties, and sever ties with those close to him. Watch as he transforms into the ultimate country singer, Starlight Country. Get your dancing shoes and grab a cold one because this glamorous man is now a stud. Watch out, ladies, because Starlight Country is gonna knock your boots off. Watch out, urban cowboy. Here comes Starlight Country. Watch Starlight Country. Available in video stores near you. All right, folks. So that concludes Starlight Riot's path in his life. So I don't think we're gonna do any more Starlight Riot.
Starlight Riot.
Uh,
So he cut his hair, right?
yeah, he said, "Hey, I'm going country."
In order to fit his hair in that hat.
Yeah, yeah, he had to do it. So now we get into the fun stuff, right? It's time to review the
Ujú.
videos that we like to watch all the time. I did a little digging and I found a couple of things. So I will warn you. We're going to go to the paranormal section as defined by Frank Walls. Paranormal, as defined for us, is anything that's not normal, abnormal, or paranormal,
Exacto.
right? Meaning supernatural. There are some things that deal with demonic entities and stuff like that. Viewer discretion is advised. If you got sensitive hearing and you don't want to hear this stuff,
Mm.
don't hear it or mute your TV because it's gonna get a little crazy as it pertains to one of the videos. So with that being said, you've been warned, and now we can watch a paranormal segment.
Mira,
Want to say in Spanish?
vamos a ver nuestro segmento de lo que es lo paranormal. Como describimos nosotros lo que es paranormal, es algo que no es normal, que es fuera de lo normal o que es abnormal. Ahora vamos a proceder con otro segmento de lo paranormal donde vamos a ver unos videos que hay unas posesiones demoníacas y cosas así. Así que si usted es muy sensitivo o es muy débil a estas cosas, pues que tenga su discreción y pues, que tenga, no nos vea o algo, lo que usted quiera, ¿verdad? Pero va a ser un poquito fuerte lo que van a ver. Así que view discretion, ¿no? Discretion advice, right?
Yeah.
Y nada, disfruten el video. Estas son cosas que pasan. Acuérdense que hay un mundo más allá de lo que nosotros vemos. Hay un mundo espiritual, hay un mundo... Es como un velo, ¿no? Hay una cortina y detrás de eso hay muchas cosas que nosotros no sabemos. Pero sí existe y está ahí. Y nosotros pues te llevamos un poco a ese mundo para que veas y te acuerdes de que hay un Dios, hay algo malo, hay algo bueno y hay que estar siempre pendiente a todo, ¿no? Y eso, pues. Vamos con el video.
All right, folks. So here we go. Video number 1. Viewer discretion is advised. One last time. Videos will get progressively worse and worse and worse. So please bear that in mind.
Vamos para allá.
Is that a cow?
What is that?
Oh, frick! Oh my god!
So the first set of videos actually show some paranormal activity. And at the very end, you have some things that are weird, but they're not necessarily paranormal. They're just weird occurrences and things
Mhm.
that people would find disturbing or thought inducing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So overall, the first two videos was super creepy. The other ones not so much. But the one with the nun sitting in the what they call pews.
Yeah, the church benches.
So those benches are called pews,
Pews.
if I get it right. But she's sitting in a pew by herself in an abandoned church. That's crazy.
It is.
But yeah. So video number 2.
Video number 2.
Posesión demoníaca en plena fiesta.
All right. So what you're seeing there appears to be a possession. So we're gonna run it by one more time as Frank is asking questions about the video. So
They were laughing, right? I mean,
yeah, so this is what you call a satanic party.
Posesión demoníaca en plena fiesta.
So it says
Posesión demoníaca en plena fiesta.
and the fact that they're just laughing about it. That's
see her eyes, how. Oh,
Posesión demoníaca en plena fiesta.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, last and not least is the one I'm warning you on. It has very crazy audio. Basically, this relates to Annalise Mitchell.
okay.
She passed away many, many years ago due to what they allegedly said demonic possession. And basically, there's audio recording of her voice speaking in all the demonic tongues. This is a factual case. This went to court. So just bear that in mind. Listen, and if this is not something you want to hear, please mute your audio now.
He's in a wheelchair.
So for that last video, it's from @randomvideos6664. The second
Posesión demoníaca en plena fiesta.
and the first video came from @ScaryAndCreepy1. If you want to see them at TikTok, go to their page and give them a follow and check out their videos. They have tons of cool videos that pertain to the paranormal and the crazy and all that stuff. Again, we hope that you enjoyed what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
We sure did. We don't take it lightly when we talk about stuff that has to do with possession. But it's just something that's out there that does exist and should be shared.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So that concludes our paranormal segment.
What a video. They were so interesting.
Yes, they were. Anything you want to add?
I always say there's a spiritual world behind us, you know what I mean? And people take it for granted, but hey, something out there, you know.
No, because the show's about to end soon. We only have one more segment left. Then you're gonna have to sing your song. Never say goodbye.
Never say goodbye.
All right. So, folks, thank you so much for watching this segment. We're going back to our group segment. There we go. So now that we're in our group segment, now we're going to talk about Cassadaga.
Cassadaga, Florida, man.
So this video is about 7-8 minutes long. So when you get a chance, not when you get a chance, watch the video. Feel free to call in if you have questions about the experience. We'll gladly share it with you guys. And yeah, if you call in, you get free merch. So just bear that in mind. And excuse Frank, he's kind of sick and under the weather.
Yeah.
But he's a trooper. He's here. And without further ado,
Before you go, I got Yvette in the chat. The second one looked weird, maybe fake. Hey, we don't know.
which event is that?
What? The second Yvette.
So in New York, there are places where they practice this. I had a friend who did this a lot. And it's very common for people to laugh it off. I'm not saying that one is real or not, but it looked very similar to what I've seen before and in situations that I've been with my friend. He was heavily into that. And we're talking about when we were teenagers, right? Not as adults. I wouldn't dare mess around with that stuff. But Yeah. So you get to see and you get exposure to this stuff and you kind of know what it looks like. You could read the cues. Now, is it real? Probably you're right. And probably not. However, it's very, very close.
She was twitching. Hey.
You know, outside of twitching, she was stuck in a stern position.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do, even in practice, right? Like, you gotta really be.
It's either going through a seizure or
Yeah. Why would your pupils black out during a seizure?
exactly.
That doesn't happen.
Exactly.
So again, neither here or there, but it's possible. You may be right.
We got Matthew Adorno, hell yeah, the paranormal segment. Yeah. We got Corali Sotero. No, that is too much for me. I respect things like that. Yeah, too.
Yeah. So again, very sensitive stuff, but we want to show it to you guys. And like I said, we discuss the unknown, we present the facts, you discover your truths, and if it's real to you or not, you know,
Exactly.
that's the point. But we appreciate it, and yes, this is what it's all about.
It is.
It's great. I love it.
We present you something that is not common, but exists. You know what I mean?
Right. So, time to move on.
Let's head to Cassadaga.
All right, folks, welcome back to Cassadaga Part 2. At this point, we are going to continue with our journey leaving the cemetery, and we make our way to Sea Green's Haunted Museum. And boy, when we go there, we were in for a treat.
So here we are at Sea Green's Haunted Museum. It's a lot of historical information, as Sea Green's manager mentioned. There's been reports of hauntings in the place today, so hopefully we'll find something. So check this out. It looks like they have rewards for Native Americans back in the heyday, where they were taking over the states and removing the Native Americans. So this section here covers some of the history of Cassadaga. You got, George P. Colby information, and essentially some articles about psychic mediums and spiritualist camp and things that happened here in Florida. So.
And now for you Spanish-speaking folks, Frank will describe some of the things he's seeing at Sea Greens.
How you doing, guys? Here we have a little bit story of what the town is. En español ahora tenemos aquí esta parte, nos dice cómo es la historia del pueblo, ¿no? de lo que es el Cassadaga. Aquí está el fundador, que se llama George P. Colby. Él fundó el pueblo y dicen que pues que está fundado como un sitio espiritual. Cassadaga es la capital, supuestamente en el mundo de lo paranormal, ¿no? Y aquí hay mucha... Tú puedes sentir la energía aquí de lo que es lo paranormal y el encantamiento, todo. Aquí hay muchas fotos. Está el Cassadaga, el campo espiritual de Cassadaga. Está de hecho aquí al frente fuera del museo. Muchas fotos de lo que es el pueblito como tal y cómo fue que se fundó en esos tiempos. Lo que era la oficina del correo. Y muchas cosas muy interesantes, de verdad que sí.
We then proceeded to continue and investigate the location, and then our guest of honor, Malcolm, ended up not feeling so well, and we caught that, and then some bizarre thing happened with our cameraman's flashlight. So let's check out the footage.
So the I-4 is called the Dead Zone. Back when the Seminoles used to run this area, there was reports of a lot of death and things of that nature. And to this day, the I-4 is still prominently one of those things. Nah, bro. Our guest of honor is not feeling too well. But yeah, so here we are at the I-4 dead zone. Now Interstate 4. We're having issues with. Is everyone okay here?
Broke.
Oh, the wrap just broke on you?
Yeah.
Okay, so just hold on to the wrap. We'll chuck it up to an incident. Look like some of our guys here today, some of our guests are very perceptive.
Yeah.
So the energy did feel kind of heavy during that time, and we just continue on to look at the spiritualist section and other sections of Sea Green's Haunted Museum. Overall, I think it was a very interesting experience, to say the least. After we finished looking at Sea Green's Haunted Museum, we went to the township and started looking around.
All right, guys, you're in for a treat. We just did Sea Green's Haunted Museum. If you're ever at Cassadaga, Florida, please be sure to go to Sea Green's Haunted History Museum. It is everything they say it is. It's a museum filled with a lot of information regarding Cassadaga and other things. So yeah, just make sure you come in here when you're at Cassadaga.
So we make our way to the township and find this store where it's filled with a lot of curiosities about the spiritualism and the occult. We asked questions, and they, were kind enough to provide us with information regarding the town. So we came to discover that there was a temple there that's dedicated to their practices of spiritualism and the occult. And then there's also a lake that has these two amazing palm trees. And essentially it has like an energy vortex that you can feel while you're standing in between these palm trees. Frank will go over it and describe it better than I can.
How you doing, guys? Hola, ¿cómo estamos? Aquí Frank Walls desde Cassadaga, Florida. Nos encontramos en el Spiritual Pond, ¿verdad? La laguna espiritual, le dicen. Dicen que en el medio de estas dos palmas que pueden ver aquí, hay como un vortex de energía, el cual tú puedes sentir la energía en el área. También a la parte de atrás se encuentra el templo, el Kobe Temple, donde se reúnen muchos mentalistas, personas espirituales, a hablar de sus cosas y diferentes experiencias espirituales. Y mucha gente viene aquí y dicen que ven como luces, orbs, hay mucha paz, mucha tranquilidad. Se puede sentir la energía positiva, mucha tranquilidad. Eso sí, no hemos visto ningún orbs o nada de eso, pero sí, es un sitio muy bonito y les aconsejo que vengan a visitarnos. Quiero darle las gracias a Ana María de la Cassadaga Camp Bookstore. Shout out to Ana Maria from Cassadaga Camp Bookstore. She was the one that gave us the map that lead us over here. Thank you.
All right, so in summation, Cassadaga is an amazing place to go and see. It is filled with mystery and allure and this crazy energy that it's hard to describe. The people there are wonderful. They celebrate what they practice, and they do it openly and lovingly. I think Frank and I would agree that it is a very enlightening place for those who want to study this craft, what we call spiritualism or witchcraft or any occult sciences. But all in all, we're thankful to the folks at Cassadaga, and we had a blast. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk about our next adventure. All right, so that was Cassadaga.
Cassadaga, Florida.
We what an adventure, right?
What an adventure.
So there were some experiences that we caught, and again, because of editing and time constraints, we didn't put it all in. At some point, it'll go on TikTok and Instagram. weird things, audio sounding like someone speaking over the microphone.
Oh yeah.
The incident with Malcolm.
Yeah.
So the funny part is that should have been a blooper reel because he said, "Oh, my stomach hurts," or whatever it was, and I said, "Dude, you can't do that. I'm recording." And he's like,
Yeah.
"You what? You serious?" I'm like, "Damn, he just had an experience."
He wasn't feeling well.
And me trying to be as professional as possible. And I'm telling him like, "Hey, you can't do that. I'm recording." But he was actually telling me something that he feels, and which again, in retrospect, that should have been a little more.
And it's weird because when we entered the museum, it's called the Haunted Museum because a lot of haunted artifacts and a lot of creepy stuff from like Ouija boards, you name it, crystal balls. So when we entered the museum that day, the lady said, what was like
She said that it was a little busy in there.
yeah, like the spirits were.
She came in with her old lady voice, and let me see if I can do this. Do it some justice.
1 second.
It's trying to get a voice effect. That's the thing you don't see here. That's why I asked you to go to YouTube.
Hello, Sonny.
It's your birthday.
Hello, Sonny. You have to be careful out there because it's been a little busy. And I was like, "What do you mean busy?" Yeah, I think they kind of activated today, honey.
Who? You said who?
Who? You know, the ghost.
The spirits.
Yes, the spirits.
That was crazy.
And then the look of my kid, my son,
Yeah.
and the look on Malcolm was like, "What?
Where are we going into?
Like, where are you taking us to?" So it was interesting, right? But the lady's voice never left. She was a sweetheart, by the way.
Very nice lady.
You know, we're over here joking around or whatever. But folks at Cassadaga are very nice, very kind.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about. But before I do that, let me just do it one more.
Hello, Sonny.
So you just have too much fun with this stuff. So going back to Cassadaga, this is my thoughts. You're going to a place that you can feel everything that you couldn't feel outside of the physical.
Exactly. You can feel the energy.
You can feel the energy. You also feel like you're being watched
Mm-hmm.
every time, knowing there's no one there. That's a crazy feeling. That was the first time I felt that, but I didn't feel scared. That's one thing I will say. I did not feel scared. It felt like they were curious. Whoever was watching was curious more about us than we were about them.
Exactly.
Right? Then there's what happened at Sea Greens. If I had to chuck it up to something, it was more of a, hey, you're here. We're going to give you what you want.
Yeah.
And I think we got what we wanted. We didn't get more than we needed. We got just enough to understand, like, hey, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't take this lightly. You don't take us lightly because you can end up in a really
Bad
sour
situation.
situation.
Oh yeah.
Right? But going back to Cassadaga, beautiful place.
Beautiful. I love the
So-
pond, the lake, everything.
Yeah.
They even have a temple.
Yeah. So
I thought it was a church.
no, but that's the funny part, that even that didn't feel awkward.
Mm-hmm.
It felt welcoming. It did not feel.
Yeah.
We didn't go in because we were being respectful of what they were doing.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel uncomfortable at all. The energy at the vortex between the two palm trees and that's real. Like, guys, I don't know if whether you believe it or not my fish to fry, but I do believe it, and I did feel it, and I thought it was like crazy to experience that. All in all, Cassadaga is a cool place for you to visit if you are interested in experiencing that idea. But I do want to preface, these are everyday people that work hard. They study their craft. So we go in with a level of respect because we understand that what they do is something that it's a craft, right? So when we talk about the occult, I don't talk about it as evil stuff. I talk about it as a science, you know, as their faith.
Yeah, that's their
And
faith.
that's okay. You practice it. That's your thing. We want to know about it. We want to comprehend what
You
that
cannot
is.
judge them for their fate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We respect everybody's faiths, and and everything, you know,
Yeah.
that's their beliefs. We respect them, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and the worst thing that can happen is that you mess up and drop the ball.
Oh, Sonny, I'm gonna put a cuss on you, boy.
Mhm.
You know, so
You don't want that to happen.
yeah. So all in all, Cassadaga, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Devil's Chair, thank you so much. Women of Unearthly, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We're on to our next adventure.
The people at the store.
Yes, the bookstore.
Yeah, the bookstore.
Well, you shouted them out in the video, so I kept that there.
Samantha, I think.
I don't know, but it's on the video.
Man, something like that.
But all in all, great experience. One that I'm gonna treasure, and one that I will probably
Yeah.
hold to myself to go there more often, just for the sake of going through that experience. It was pretty
It's-
cool.
It's a peaceful place, you know. Weird but peaceful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Sometimes
don't
you
mind.
need a
I don't
little-
mind going again.
Sometimes you need a little weird, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. What do you have on the chats?
In the chat we got Hector Chávez. Bendiciones, mi gente. Gracias por el contenido, muy interesante. What up, what up? Gracias, Hector. Saludos, saludos.
All right, folks. So this is where the rubber meets the road. We have to be ready for another episode next week. How
Yeah.
are we gonna pull it off? We don't know, but that's what we're here for.
I hope I feel better next week. That way I don't have to be coughing and all that stuff.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. You're a trooper. With that being said, we just want to say to all the subscribers, thank you for the love and support. We're gonna continue to work our hardest. We hope that this week was better than the last. And in order to really
Mhm.
segue into that, we're gonna show you one more trailer of what's coming next week. One piece of it. And we just want to really say thank you, and we're gonna see you next week. And I'm gonna turn it now to Frank. He can say that in Spanish, and then we're gonna sign off.
Muchachos, gracias por el apoyo. Se le agradece mucho. Ya son 500 subscribers.
Right.
De verdad que ha sido un trabajo excelente que hemos hecho y gracias por el apoyo. Saludos a todos los que están en el chat, a los que están en el Facebook Live. Saludos a J-Rock. Este es el pilar de esto aquí. Este es el duraco, como le decimos. Gracias por el apoyo. Recuerden que pueden ir al canal de YouTube. Ahí están los links de Instagram, TikTok, Printify, que es la tienda de nosotros, donde puedes conseguir estas gorras así bien cool, otras camisetas, tenemos media, jacket, las tazas,
Café.
tenemos el café del Coco Coffee, tenemos el Jerry Blend. Y gracias por su apoyo, por su patrocinio. Próximo domingo vamos a estar aquí con un programa muy bueno para su deleite, así que saben cómo es. Saludo a toda la gente que han hecho esto posible. Sir Valentine, José Otero, J-Rock, yo, todo el mundo. Gracias a Mari, a todo el mundo.
Yeah.
Y al perro también.
The bloody hellhound.
Mi gente, y stay tuned for more. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And remember, you can call to this number right here. Always. You can call us and share your paranormal experience. Puedes llamar ahí y compartir con nosotros alguna experiencia paranormal que haya tenido. Así que gracias por el apoyo. Nos veremos el próximo domingo a la misma hora por el mismo canal.
All right, folks. So before we continue on with the video, let's play the outro video to give credit where credit is due.
This show is produced by J Rock and Frank Walls. Audio and music by Alex Otero. Art and design by Corrales Otero. See you next week, and remember, the truth is out there.
All right, folks. So with that being said, we are going to play video. Next week on Distorted Realities.
It's J-Rock coming in over. Read down. You have 4 hostiles heading your way.
Jackpot trailer. That was pretty cool,
That was
right?
very interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So more to come. See you next week. And thank you once again. You're awesome. Later.
Take care, guys.